Your mind is a storm of endless chatter. Isn't it a constant whirlwind of thoughts, opinions, and judgments? It's like a noisy room you can't escape, a place where the echoes of yesterday collide with the worries of tomorrow. But what if I told you this storm doesn't have to control you? What if I told you there's a way to step outside the noise and find something truly profound, a silence so still it feels like touching the very essence of life itself? Think about it. How many moments of your life have slipped away unnoticed because your mind was somewhere else? A conversation with a loved one where your focus was on an unfinished task. A beautiful sunset, lost to the endless replaying of past mistakes. Or perhaps the most painful of all, the quiet moments of peace you couldn't enjoy because you were busy worrying about a future that doesn't even exist yet. But before we go any further, ask yourself this. When was the last time you truly felt the present moment? Not thinking about it, not analyzing it, just living it. No judgments, no comparisons, just the raw, unfiltered experience of being alive. For many, the answer is painful. It's been too long. We've become prisoners of our own thoughts, trapped in a never-ending conversation that's robbing us of life's most beautiful gift, the now. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you something powerful. Together, we'll explore how to quiet the noise, how to turn down the volume of your inner dialogue, and how to reconnect with the simplicity of the present moment. You don't need years of practice. You don't need special skills. All you need is the willingness to try. Because once you've tasted true silence, you'll never want to go back to the noise. So, are you ready to let go of the storm? Are you ready to experience the profound stillness that's always been there, just waiting for you? If so, take a deep breath and let's begin. Imagine this. You're standing in the middle of a beautiful forest. The trees sway gently in the wind, the birds sing, and a nearby stream whispers as it flows. But you don't hear any of it. Why? Because your mind is somewhere else, wrapped up in a mental conversation about yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's uncertainties. You're surrounded by beauty, but it's lost to the noise inside your own head. This is what so many of us experience every day. Life happening all around us. But we're too caught up in the constant chatter to notice. Why does this happen? Why does the mind feel the need to talk to us nonstop, like a radio that can't be turned off? It's because your mind has learned to mistake thinking for living. It believes that by analyzing, judging, and planning, it's protecting you. But in reality, it's keeping you stuck in a loop of worry, regret, and distraction. This is the cost of living with a noisy mind. You're here, but you're not truly present. You're alive, but you're not truly living. And let's be honest, the noise is exhausting, isn't it? You felt it, that mental fatigue that comes from replaying the same arguments, the same worries, the same doubts over and over again. It drains your energy, it clouds your focus, and worst of all, it steals your peace. But here's the truth that no one tells you. Silence is the antidote. True silence, not the absence of sound, but the stillness of the mind, is what allows you to finally hear the world around you. It's what allows you to hear yourself. Think about how much of life we miss because we're distracted. How many sunsets go unseen because our eyes are glued to screens? How many smiles go unnoticed because we're lost in thought? And how many moments of joy slip away because we're too busy reliving the past or worrying about the future? Silence matters because it's the doorway to presence, and presence is the only place where life truly happens. You see, the mind loves to live in time. It loves to replay the past and anticipate the future. But the present moment is where life is, right now. In this very moment is the only reality there is. Everything else, the past, the future, exists only as thoughts. The noise in your head creates a world of what-ifs and if-onlys, pulling you away from the simplicity of what is. But silence brings you back. It's like stepping out of a crowded room and into the open air, where everything feels clearer, lighter, more alive. Silence isn't just about peace, it's about clarity. In silence, you can finally hear the truth. You can hear your intuition, the quiet voice that often gets drowned out by the chaos of overthinking. You can feel the connection between yourself and the world around you, a connection that's always been there but has been masked by mental noise. In silence, you realize that you're not separate from life. You are life. The boundaries you think exist between you and the rest of the world are just illusions created by a busy mind. And here's the beautiful thing. Silence doesn't demand perfection. It doesn't require you to have a completely empty mind. Instead, it asks for awareness. It asks you to notice the chatter without being consumed by it, to step back and observe your thoughts like leaves floating down a river, letting them come and go without clinging to them. This is why silence matters, not because it eliminates thought, but because it frees you from being controlled by it. So, why does silence matter? Because it gives you back your life. It gives you the ability to be here now, in the only moment that truly exists. It's not just about quieting the mind, it's about waking up to the richness of the present. It's about hearing the song of a bird, feeling the warmth of the sun, or noticing the rhythm of your own breath, and realizing that this moment is enough. Silence isn't an escape. It's a homecoming, a return to the beauty of life as it is. And once you taste that stillness, even for a moment, you'll understand its power. You'll understand why silence isn't just a break from the noise. It's the space where the fullness of life unfolds. It's the space where you rediscover who you are. Have you ever felt the weight of trying to control everything in your life? You plan, you strategize, you overthink, all in an attempt to keep things from falling apart. It's exhausting, isn't it? That constant need to steer every detail, to make sure everything goes just right. But here's the truth. Most of us don't want to admit. Control is an illusion. It's a comforting story we tell ourselves to feel safe in an unpredictable world. And yet, the more we cling to this illusion, the more we suffer. Think about it. How often does life actually go exactly the way you planned? A missed call, an unexpected delay, a sudden change in someone's behavior. These tiny disruptions remind you that no matter how much you plan or worry, you can't control everything. And yet, we keep trying, don't we? We hold on tightly, thinking that if we just work harder or think faster, we can outsmart the chaos. But this effort comes at a cost. We trade peace for anxiety, freedom for frustration. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly let go? Not in a careless or reckless way, but in a way that felt freeing, where you stopped trying to force outcomes and simply allowed life to unfold. For many of us, that idea feels terrifying. To let go feels like giving up, like admitting defeat. But it's not. Letting go is not the same as losing control. It's realizing that you were never really in control to begin with. It's surrendering to the flow of life instead of constantly fighting against it. You see, the mind thrives on control. It wants to label everything, predict everything, and hold on to everything. But life doesn't work that way. Life is fluid, unpredictable, and full of surprises. The harder you try to grip it, the more it slips through your fingers. It's like trying to hold onto water. The tighter you squeeze, the less you have. And yet, when you open your hand and allow the water to flow naturally, you realize it's never really gone. It's simply moving as it's meant to. This is the myth of control, the belief that by clinging tightly, we can shape life to our liking. But control is not the same as power. True power comes not from forcing life into submission, but from flowing with it. Imagine a river. You can fight the current, thrashing and struggling against its natural direction, or you can surrender and let it carry you. The river doesn't care. It will continue to flow regardless. But the choice to resist or flow determines whether you experience the journey of suffering or peace. And here's the secret. Letting go doesn't mean doing nothing. It doesn't mean you stop making decisions or taking action. It means you stop resisting what is. It means you show up fully for the present moment without demanding it be different. It's about trusting the process of life, even when it feels uncertain. Because here's the irony. The more you let go of control, the more life aligns itself in ways you couldn't have planned. Opportunities arise, clarity emerges, and peace becomes your natural state. But why is this so hard for us? It's because the mind equates surrender with vulnerability. It thinks, if I don't hold on, I'll lose everything. But the opposite is true. When you let go, you create space. Space for clarity, space for peace, space for life to move through you instead of being blocked by your resistance. Letting go is not about losing. It's about gaining freedom from the burden of trying to control the uncontrollable. Take a moment to reflect. What are you holding on to right now? What outcomes are you desperately trying to force? What fears are driving your need for control? Now, imagine just for a moment what it would feel like to let that go, to release the tight grip, to breathe deeply and say, I trust the process of life. How much lighter would you feel? How much more alive would you be? Letting go is not a single act. It's a practice. It's reminding yourself moment by moment that life was never meant to be controlled. It's allowing yourself to trust the flow, to trust that the same force that keeps your heart beating and the stars shining will also guide your path. And when you begin to embrace this, you'll discover something incredible. Life becomes easier, not because it changes, but because you do. You move from resistance to acceptance, from struggle to peace. Stop for a moment and take a deep breath. Feel the air entering your lungs, filling your body with life. Now, as you exhale, let go of everything else. Your worries about tomorrow, the echoes of yesterday, even the thoughts running through your mind right now. In this single breath, there is no past, no future, only the present moment. This right here is life. And yet, how often do we miss it? Think about it. We spend so much of our time either reliving the past or rehearsing the future. We replay old conversations, wishing we'd said something different. We worry about things that haven't even happened yet, building elaborate scenarios in our minds. But here's the truth. The past is gone. The future hasn't arrived. And the only moment that truly exists is now. The present moment is the key to everything. But why is it so hard to stay here? Why does the mind constantly pull us away from this moment? It's because the mind thrives on time. It loves to dissect what has already happened and predict what might come next. It clings to the illusion of time because it fears stillness. Stillness means facing what is without distraction, and for many of us, that feels uncomfortable. It feels vulnerable. But here's the secret. Stillness isn't empty. It's full. Full of life, full of presence, full of clarity. The present moment is where everything happens. Imagine holding a snow globe. When you shake it, the tiny flakes swirl in every direction, making it impossible to see clearly. This is what happens in your mind when you're caught up in thoughts of the past and future. But when you set the snow globe down, the flakes begin to settle, the water clears, and suddenly, you can see everything as it truly is. That's what the present moment offers. Clarity. When you let the mental chatter settle, you begin to see life as it is, not as your mind projects it to be. And here's the thing. The present moment is not just where life happens. It's where peace lives. Think about a time when you felt truly at ease. Maybe it was watching the waves roll onto the shore, or laughing with a friend, or simply sitting quietly in nature. What made those moments so special? It wasn't the circumstances themselves. It was your presence. You weren't caught up in the noise of your mind. You were fully here, fully alive. And that's the power of the present moment. It connects you to the essence of life itself. But let's be real, staying in the present isn't always easy. The mind is a master storyteller, constantly pulling you into its narratives. It'll remind you of things you could have done differently, or warn you about what might go wrong. And sometimes, it's convincing. But here's the truth. Those stories are just that. Stories. They are not reality. The only reality is now. The more you practice coming back to this moment, the more you realize that the stories lose their power. They're like shadows. They seem big and overwhelming, but they vanish when you shine the light of presence on them. Now let me ask you this. What does the present moment feel like? Not what do you think it should feel like, but what does it actually feel like? Close your eyes for a moment and just be. Notice your breath as it flows in and out. Feel the sensations in your body, the warmth, the weight, the tingling. Listen to the sounds around you, not labeling them or analyzing them, but simply hearing them. This is the present moment. It's not something you have to search for. It's already here, waiting for you to notice it. And the beauty of the present moment is this. It's enough. It doesn't ask you to be anywhere else, do anything else, or be anyone else. In the present moment, there's no pressure to achieve, no need to fix or change anything. It's a space where you can simply be, and in that being, you find freedom. You find that the worries you held onto so tightly don't actually matter. You find that the peace you've been searching for has been here all along. The present moment is not a destination. It's not something you'll reach after checking off a to-do list or solving all your problems. It's here, right now. And the more you practice returning to it, the more you'll realize its power. You'll begin to notice the small, beautiful details of life, the way sunlight dances on water, the sound of laughter in the distance, the rhythm of your own heartbeat. These are the things that make life rich and full, and they're all happening now. Let's shift gears now. We've talked about why silence matters, the illusion of control, and the power of the present moment. But how do you actually quiet your mind? How do you find that inner silence in a world that's constantly pulling your attention in 100 different directions? The truth is, achieving inner silence doesn't mean stopping your thoughts entirely. It means learning to observe them without being consumed by them. It's about creating space, a calm, quiet space where you can simply be. And today, I'll guide you through 3 practical techniques to help you do just that. The first technique is deceptively simple. Listen, not with the goal of analyzing or labeling, but just to hear the world as it is. Start by sitting in a comfortable position somewhere you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and let your hearing expand. What do you notice? Maybe it's the faint hum of an appliance, the rustle of leaves, or the distant sound of traffic. Whatever it is, don't judge it. Don't name it. Just let it wash over you like waves lapping against the shore. Here's the key. Treat every sound as part of a symphony. The world around you is always alive with its own music. When you stop trying to control what you hear and simply allow it, something magical happens. You begin to realize that every sound, no matter how mundane or unexpected, is a part of the present moment. And in that realization, the mind starts to settle. It's like tuning into a radio station where the static fades away, leaving only clarity. If your mind starts to wander, and it will, gently guide it back to the sounds. You don't need to force anything. The goal isn't perfection, it's awareness. Every time you return to listening, you're strengthening your ability to be present. Over time, this practice becomes second nature, a way to ground yourself whenever life feels overwhelming. The second technique is one of the most powerful tools for finding inner silence, using your breath. Your breath is always with you, always present, and always available as a point of focus. Begin by sitting comfortably and turning your attention to your breathing. Don't try to change it. Just notice it. Feel the air as it enters your nose, fills your lungs, and exits again. Notice the natural rhythm, the rise and fall of your chest, the subtle pause between each inhale and exhale. As you do this, you might find your mind wandering. Thoughts will arise, plans, worries, memories. This is normal. Don't fight them, and don't judge yourself for having them. Instead, gently redirect your focus back to your breath. Imagine your thoughts as clouds drifting across the sky. You don't need to chase them or push them away. Just let them come and go while your breath remains steady and constant. Now, take it a step further. Begin to notice how your breath reflects your state of mind. Is it shallow and quick, or deep and steady? Without forcing it, try to slow your breath down. Inhale deeply through your nose for a count of 4. Hold it for a moment, and then exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. Feel your body relax with each exhale. This simple practice not only calms your nervous system, but also anchors you firmly in the present moment, where silence naturally arises. The third technique is a bit different. It's about bringing awareness to your thoughts without being carried away by them. This is called thought labeling, and it works like this. As you sit quietly, begin to observe your thoughts as they arise. Instead of engaging with them, label them. For example, if you catch yourself worrying about something, simply say to yourself, "Worry." If you're replaying a memory, label it memory. If you're planning something, call it planning. By labeling your thoughts, you create a bit of distance between yourself and the thought. You remind yourself that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. This simple act of labeling shifts your perspective. It allows you to step back and see the flow of your mind without getting swept away by it. Over time, you'll notice that your thoughts lose their grip. They become like passing clouds, always there, but no longer controlling your inner weather. Now, you might be wondering, how do these techniques fit into daily life? The beauty of them is that they don't require hours of effort. You can practice listening while sitting in a park, or even during your morning commute. You can focus on your breath while waiting in line or during a stressful moment at work. And you can label your thoughts whenever you feel overwhelmed, turning chaos into clarity in just a few moments. The key is consistency. Start small. Commit to 5 minutes a day for one of these practices. Maybe it's listening one day, focusing on your breath the next, and labeling your thoughts the day after. Over time, you'll find that these techniques naturally blend into your life. They become tools you can rely on no matter where you are or what you're going through. As you practice, something deeper begins to happen. These techniques don't just quiet your mind, they change your relationship with it. You start to see your thoughts not as facts, but as passing phenomena. You begin to feel the stillness beneath the noise, the silence that has always been there waiting for you. This is the silence of presence, the silence of simply being. It's not something you create, it's something you uncover, like clearing away clouds to reveal the blue sky that was there all along. Inner silence is not about escaping the world. It's about meeting it fully with clarity and peace. It's about hearing the subtle music of life, feeling the rhythm of your breath, and observing your thoughts without judgment. These practices are not just techniques, they're doorways. Doorways to a quieter mind, a fuller heart, and a life lived in harmony with the present moment. Let's take a moment to step back and look at the bigger picture. Everything we've talked about, inner silence, the present moment, the illusion of control, leads us to one profound realization. The way you see the world determines the way you experience it. Your perspective isn't just a lens, it's the foundation of your reality. And when you shift that perspective, everything changes. The noise fades, the chaos settles, and you begin to see life for what it truly is. A harmonious dance of being, unfolding moment by moment. Think about the ocean for a moment. The waves rise and fall, crash against the shore, and recede back into the depths. Each wave appears separate, distinct. But is it really? Or is it simply a part of the ocean temporarily taking form before merging back into the whole? The same is true of you. You are not a separate wave. You are the ocean itself, expressed in a unique and fleeting form. And when you see this, when you truly feel it, the illusion of separation dissolves. You realize that you are connected to everything. This shift in perspective isn't just an abstract idea. It's a lived experience, and it changes everything. Suddenly, the struggles and conflicts that once felt so personal begin to feel like passing weather patterns. The anger, the fear, the frustration. They're no longer things you have to fight or fix. They're simply part of the flow, like a storm passing through the sky. And just as the sky remains unchanged, no matter how fierce the storm, so too does the deeper part of you remain untouched by the noise of the mind. But let's make this practical. How do you shift your perspective? How do you go from feeling like a separate wave to recognizing that you're the entire ocean? It begins with awareness. Start by noticing how often you identify with your thoughts and emotions. When you feel anger, for example, you might say, "I am angry." But is that true? Are you anger, or are you simply experiencing anger? There's a subtle but powerful difference. When you realize that your thoughts and emotions are not you, but things that happen within you, you create space. And in that space, you find freedom. Let's try something. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself standing by a river. Watch as the water flows past you. Some parts of the river are calm and clear, while others are rushing and turbulent. Now, imagine that your thoughts and emotions are like the water in the river. Instead of jumping in and being swept away, you're standing on the shore, watching it all flow by. You don't need to control the river. You don't need to stop it. You just need to see it for what it is, a continuous flow that doesn't define you. This is the power of perspective. And here's something even more profound. When you stop identifying with the river of thoughts and emotions, you begin to see the larger landscape. You notice the trees, the mountains, the sky, all the beauty that was there all along, but hidden by your fixation on the water. This is what happens when you shift your perspective in life. You stop being consumed by the details and start seeing the whole. You realize that the struggles and triumphs, the joys and sorrows, are all part of a greater harmony. This new perspective also changes how you see yourself in relation to others. Instead of seeing people as separate from you, you begin to see them as reflections of yourself. Their joys are your joys. Their struggles are your struggles. This sense of connection dissolves barriers and creates compassion. When you truly understand that we're all part of the same ocean, it becomes impossible to feel alone or isolated. You recognize that every wave, no matter how small or large, contributes to the beauty of the whole. But let's take it even deeper. This shift in perspective isn't just about connection, it's about liberation. When you see yourself as part of the greater whole, you stop needing life to be a certain way. You stop demanding that things go according to your plans or expectations. You begin to trust the flow, knowing that the same force that moves the stars in the sky is the force that moves you. This trust brings an unparalleled sense of peace. You no longer feel the need to resist or control life. You simply allow it to unfold. And in this unfolding, you discover a truth that's been waiting for you all along. Life is not a problem to solve or a battle to win. It's a miracle to experience. Every moment, no matter how ordinary, becomes extraordinary when seen through this lens. A breath, a smile, the sound of rain. These simple things become sacred. They remind you that the essence of life isn't found in grand achievements or future plans. It's found in the quiet, present awareness of being. So, as we come to the end of this journey, I invite you to take this shift in perspective with you. Let it shape the way you see the world and yourself. Let it remind you that you are life, and in every breath, every moment, there is a beauty and a harmony that's always been there, waiting for you to notice. You don't need to search for it. You don't need to fight for it. You simply need to see it. Because the peace, the connection, the freedom you've been looking for has been here all along.